Hey everybody. So there is a lot to go over today, so we're going to get right into it. 6.28 billion, 1.78 was what we were looking for in the EPS. These are the numbers that we were looking for. This is what came out. AMAT beat 194 versus the 179. Sales 652 versus 628. Now, if you look at what they're doing here, you're looking at 182 to 218. Average these two together, you get $2 versus the estimate. Average these together, you get 662, which is higher than your sales estimate. Stock is trading up after hours. Now, why is this important? Well, this is important because we have the same pattern going on in all the semiconductor names. Now, at the time of recording this, I did not listen to the conference call. So here's what's going on. These are all setting up the same way, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it. So I'm just going to show it to you this way. This highlighted area right here, we're going to get rid of everything else. And let's just focus on that for a minute. Okay, take out even the pre and post. To me, this is a cup. You have a wonky handle here. Broke down, tried to get through it, couldn't. But one constant is going on here. And let's zoom in on this so we can focus on it. And it's constant in all of them. You're flipped here, right? So all of a sudden, you have a lower low, now you have a higher low, and you keep putting them in. So you're not breaking down anymore, but you have not been going up. Everyone keeps waiting for the market to roll down again. And with what's going on out there, we are in one big inflation trade. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. So we're going to do the indexes again at the end, so make sure you stay. But if you watch this level right here, you can see how you broke right from January straight down. But you're flipping that level. This does not turn into a V right away. This takes time. It has to build like a stage one base and go from there, maybe break out of this cup and handle and go from there. The bottom line that you should be taking away from this evening is earnings were either in line with expectations or above. They were above. And they raised guidance a little bit in the middle of everything that's going on. So I think that says a lot about the company. And I'm really curious to listen to the conference call, which I will listen to later today. But that wasn't the only one that had a good report. BILL. So this closed at 149.40. Right now, let's clean up these lines real quick. Right now, you are at, I believe you're at like 175, 177. So this is just literally ripping. Now, the most important area that you should be watching on this is going to be right here. Okay, just watch that 177 level, right? You see that where you're at right now? Now look at this, 173.76. So you're already over it. So this long red nasty bar has pretty much been in charge since it happened in May, and you seem to be flipping it this evening. If you drill into this after hours, you will see that you are playing exactly with that line where this bar has come down, retested that level, and seems to be pushing and getting over. So this is getting a tremendous amount of strength after hours. Now, the reason for that is fairly simple, okay? You lost 3 cents versus losing 13 cents. Your sales came in at 200 million versus 183. Okay, your revenue, 208 to 211 versus 187.6. And you can see right here, 955 to 973 versus 879. So you're basically raising guidance and beating. There's not much more you should be expecting from a company right now. These two names are definitely going to be in play tomorrow. My thought is that this could be a catalyst that does wind up lifting up the market as a whole. I think you have to focus on some of the underlying things that are going on there. And I just want to bring up Apple for an example, okay? Again, if you do not follow along with the newsletter, there is a free version of the newsletter below in the description. There's also some other educational videos in there as well. But you're not breaking down. This is called the DTL, downward trend line. You're not breaking this. You're just bouncing around. A matter of fact, if you want to get super technical, and Apple is the leader, period. It's not really debatable when someone's asking what's the leader in the market right now. It's Apple. And I'll explain why in a very quick second. But here's my close of 174.06. Okay, I haven't closed at 174.06 since till back here. So I haven't closed this high since March. So while these wicks are fighting, and why we know wicks are signs of uncertainty, and we definitely have to be paying attention to this range, right? You certainly have to be paying attention to it. But when you have a stock like this that is above the 200-day moving average and your 50 is screaming up, okay, and your 21 is screaming up, like this is very difficult to just break down. You don't just break down here. It doesn't work like that anymore. This would take time to break down. And the market is really not going to roll over unless Apple rolls over. The S&P is not going to collapse and Apple's going to hit new highs. Now you're going into a product cycle right here. And it's supposed to start early September. You are 4.7% roughly off the highs in this market. So it's very difficult to say that you shouldn't be looking at something like Apple. Now, after hours, you have Best Buy. The gentleman that owned all those calls is now saying that he owns 0 in a filing, which means he is completely out of the position. I haven't confirmed this. It's just on the tape right now. If it's true, the stock will just completely crater here and continue to sell down. That is my opinion of it. And that's exactly what's happening to it after hours. The market giveth and the market taketh away. You have to realize these are what they are. They are meme stocks. They're going to trade up on news. You need to get in and you need to get out of them. So you watch your levels. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. This one just cut through 1860 like a hot knife through butter. So that is not something that is probably going to be coming back anytime soon if that is confirmed. Just be aware of that tomorrow when you see that action. What I would be doing is I would be looking at certain sectors that are going on out there. I'd start looking at your semiconductors again and seeing how you respond to certain levels tomorrow, especially after these earnings. There were some significant semiconductor stocks that moved today. I think that that can continue. I do think you could see names like AMD break out. I do think that that can happen. Confirm guidance, get back up to this 109.50. I do think something like that is very doable. I think if you look at NVIDIA, that is very doable for that to break out on this. You know, it's been waiting for a reason. You're above the 50. You didn't break it last time. You're holding the 21. You're above anchored VWAP right here. So you have a lot of reasons for this to go higher. And I think that that is really what you're setting up for here. So this to me makes a lot of sense to focus on. NVIDIA, AMD, those kinds of names, SOXL, this kind of stuff makes sense to look at too if you're not sure which one to buy. But that's where my focal point would go. And I'd be looking at small caps as well. So we should do the indexes here. Now, you're still fighting this 200-day, but these lines are all catching up. So your 21-day is catching up. Your 50 is starting to curl and point up, right? You haven't had this. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across to people. In March, when we rallied, you did not have a cross like this that was this wide with these angles and trajectories. Okay? That gives you stability. As you get that stability, you go higher, okay? And that's got to be your focal point, all right? So understand that the game has changed. If you take a look at the SPY, you're still in the same exact area that you've been all week. But we're not breaking down. As I pointed out yesterday, and I would like to do again, you have these huge gap downs. You're not gapping down here. You're gapping down one day and then you're bouncing. So this is a very different trade for me. And that's definitely something that I would be focused on. Now, what do I think it means? I'm not entirely sure yet, but I would not be selling here. I would look for a reason to be getting out. It doesn't mean you have to go long here, right? But I wouldn't be in a big hurry to sell my positions there. So, and if you are interested right here, you have the same level again. So you are at 329.90 and you're not breaking. If you drill into this on a 15-minute and you get rid of the pre and the post data, this is all you've been doing is getting tighter. So there's only so much that's going to happen, right, as this gets tighter. Okay, there's only so much that can happen. Eventually, it's got to break one way or another. Now, if you have companies like AMAT and Bill, and they're coming out and they're beating earnings, okay, and those companies are being rewarded, I would certainly focus on those, right? And I want to just leave you with one other thought, and I do want to go through another index really quickly, more of a commodity. Now that I think about it, I think it'd be best just to go over it now. But you're right on this line, 20. You're not breaking the 20. So where's the fear? Where's the put buyers? We know people are selling stock and shorting stock. We can see it. but they're not really going out there and shorting the market. Well, where's the protection? They're not buying protection. And I find this interesting because I just want to point this out. You had natural gas storage come in today, and it was not a good number at all. Now, the stock traded up into it and then pulled back. But I do want to leave you with this. I'd be watching natural gas very closely, especially going into the winter. So that's it for today. Please drop a comment and let me know what you like about these videos. If you like this format, if you like them getting out faster and not being edited, I would appreciate that. It lets me know which way I'm going to go with it. This week, you can tell we didn't edit. We just got them out as soon as possible. So that was helpful. If you're interested in the trading room, the link is up here to preview it. You can take a look at it and go from there. That's really all I have. Tomorrow you have Option X, so you'll have some expirations tomorrow. But overall, earnings tonight seem to be pretty good, and I would expect a decent day tomorrow. And I would watch those two names, especially Amet and Bill. Have a great night, everybody. Trade the win tomorrow.